All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Creative Mind, a Creative Mind live stream. This is our second, I believe. So this is still like very new, fresh to us. Yeah, man. Today we have a very special guest, and before I introduce them, I kind of want to let you guys know what we're doing here, who I am. By the first, my name is Andrew Lyko. I am a contemporary fine artist and the founder of ODK. And yeah, our mission here is just to empower creatives, man, share some knowledge, experiences, and kind of get to learn what it is and what it means to be a creative in like our time now. And so that being said, I have a very, very special guest today. This guy made a very big impact for artists in the Solana Web3 space, and he's just been killing it, man. So without further ado, man, Vibhu, bro, let me bring you up. Give me a second.
I'm here.
All right, you're good, man. What's
What's
going
up?
on?
Thank you for having me on.
Nah, thank you for joining us, man, and tuning in for the next hour. For the most part, this is just gonna be a very chill, organic conversation. I have a few questions for you here, but I kind of like to just feel the vibe and see where the conversation is going, and then that's how we do it here in ODK, man. So, how you doing, bro? How you feeling?
I'm good. It's a very busy day because we have a lot of drops today going out the door, and our art liaison Esther is out of office today. So I've been sending out drops, trying to find some time to retweet and amplify things, and taking calls. But yeah, I'm doing well.
Trying to
How are
crunch
you?
stuff together, right? Like it's crazy, bro. It's crazy being a builder and just kind of like taking it day by day. And I can just imagine like the amount of tasks you have coming your way on a daily basis. So it takes a lot, man. So I mean, it's crazy. But before we kind of get into it, because I want to take this back, kind of paint a picture for the audience of who you are, kind of like your mindset from when you were a kid. Give like a brief couple minutes to kind of give the audience, like people who don't know who you are, what you've done, kind of like the accomplishments that you have done with Drip so far, maybe like the major ones. And then from there, we'll kind of get into the details a little bit further within the
hmm
conversation.
You want me to talk about drip specifically, or like pre my life pre drip?
No, just right now, like the
Yeah.
big accomplishments of Drip that you guys have done,
Oh
and
yeah.
then even if people don't know what Drip is yet, I'll bring it back to them with details and kind of explain throughout the conversation. So it's kind of like a
Sure. Yeah.
short flex, real quick.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, so Drip was founded about a year and change ago, and the premise was very simple to um, break the boundaries of what it means to have art on chain, and we work with many creatives like yourself who build out channels on Drip, and you can think about these channels very similar to YouTube channels, but instead of getting videos published every week, these amazing artists and influencers and comic book creators they publish and send people collectibles that are on chain that are tradable and collectible and holdable and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, we've have a total user base of around 750,000 people. About 150,000 of them come to Drip every single month to check out what's new and to see what they got. We've sent out 70 million collectibles on behalf of artists over the last year. Um, Several $100,000 of donations have been made through the platform back to creatives. Let's see. Do I have any other numbers to brag about?
Yeah, brag, bro. This is your time
I
right
don't
now.
know.
Let them know.
I don't know. We're a team of five. I think we've done a lot. But there's still a lot more to do.
Jesus. Yeah, man. You guys have been like just. I remember when I first saw the word Drip being thrown around the feed, and I was just like, yo, what is going on here? You know what I mean? And it just kind of exploded, and then next thing you know, I see some numbers being thrown out there. I'm like, wait, what? How many subscribers, bro? This is absolutely insane. So the fact that you guys have been able to do that with a team of five is it's quite crazy. So that's why I wanted you to like kind of bring that up in the beginning to let people know kind of like who they're having the the sit down with, so to speak, in this live stream, being able
Cool.
to just kind of catch a vibe and kind of understand you as a person, as a builder, and just overall creative as well. Because I definitely consider yourself as a creative man for sure with everything you're doing. You know, what I mean, being a creative doesn't mean necessarily just being an artist. You know what I mean? It
Sure.
goes it's a very wide range. You know, so even like with what you do, you know, it takes some sort of creative mind to be able to have this idea and be like, you know what, this can potentially work, right? And so that's why
Yeah.
I say
We
you're
are
definitely
very, as a team, we're really creative. We
yeah.
like, we think about things very differently from everybody else. I'm not creative in a traditional sense. I couldn't, I mean, I draw art like they used to draw art on this, sides of walls and caves in the, millions of years ago. Um, but in terms of like thinking about, things related to the product and the future of crypto and creation, I think we've been pretty creative.
Awesome, man. And I also know you do have a hidden talent of juggling, so there you
Oh
go.
no, yes, I do.
All right, man. Let's go ahead and run this back and let's get into the mind of young Vibhu. What was he like?
Wow,
Give
look
us
at
like
this
a
production
little
value, man.
rundown.
This,
What was that?
I love the production value. This is great.
Yeah, thanks,
Um,
man.
and your stream looks immaculate. I love the like color changing mic, and yeah, it's really well lit.
Thank you, bro.
Nicely
Appreciate it.
done. What was I like? Uh, hmm. I don't know. I was very like one-minded, very focused. Like I never relinquish that. Like when I have something in front of me, like I'll spend hundreds of hours on it until I figure it out, whether it's a video game or an essay or a math problem or building a company. Very obsessive, I would say. So like my childhood is kind of was kind of like a lot of different hobbies I would like pick up and then just like master. That's how I became like an amazing juggler. It was just like through like relentless, I don't know, obsession and practice. Um, I also was a big collector. I've always loved collecting stuff. I collect everything, stamps and coins. But mostly, kind of ended up collecting a lot of sports cards. Never got into TCG or Pokemon, but yeah, I maintain a huge collection of basketball cards today, that I'm pretty proud of, and I love to go and look at. That's been built over like 30 years now. And
Damn.
like super entrepreneurial. I've always like, even when
Yeah.
I was a teen, I was starting shit online all the time. I'd say.
That's funny, man. Yeah, I mean, we have similar experiences in that on that end because I myself was like a collector at a very young age, and then also entrepreneur, I guess, a seller. I remember selling candy as like since I was, like, in elementary school or something like that, you know, I would, like my dad would go to Mexico 'cause they're my parents are Mexican, and he'd come back with Mexican candy, and I quickly realized, none of my friends have this, right? And so I started to take it to school, and I was selling for, like, a buck each. So that was, like, my first time, like, getting that experience, you know, of selling, so ever since then, bro, it's, like, done deal. I've been hooked, like, creating and then selling, it's, like, hand in hand with, my childhood, so it's crazy that you mentioned that as well. So what influenced that? If you can remember, like, was there mom and dad, siblings that kind of like influenced that young age of young Bibu growing up, kind of like, seeing
Yeah.
what you were into at that time?
Yeah, definitely on the entrepreneurial side. Like my parents worked out of my home growing up, and they owned a small business together. And so, like I never saw either my dad or mom go to an office, or like do anything other than work for themselves. And at dinner, they would talk about work, and that was kind of all that they, um, our lives rotated around what they were, the company that they were building, um, and and so, yeah, I think when I really wanted to build things and kind of like be like them in some ways. I also like when I came to the workforce, I couldn't stand coming to an office. Like I really, it didn't work for me,
Mhm.
and So even coming into my professional life, I think I made a decision pretty early on that I was going to try to seek out ways to work for myself and build something that I owned. Um, and Yeah, on the collecting side, I don't know where that came from. Honestly, my friends, like we're all just like young degens, ripping packs and trading
Mhm.
and going to card shows. We love basketball, so that was probably part of it. We played basketball and traded cards. That was our my that's my like recollection of like 5 to like 12 years old. Yeah. What
Nice,
about you?
man. Shit, me, I would definitely say from artistic side, I had 2 cousins that were much older than me, and I had an uncle who was very, very gifted artistically. And on the selling side, I actually don't know, man. I don't think anybody, because none of my family have, like, a business or anything like that. They've always been, like, very conventional the way they did things like, having a job, working 9 to 5, and so I think, for me, what was most important was, like, the ability to have freedom from my parents. So, because
Hmm.
they've always had, like, that 9 to 5 type of job, I guess early on, they realized, like, if I wanted to do something different, they weren't gonna stop me, and so that's what's kinda, like, led me on to being the person who I am now, like, just that complete ultimate freedom, just, like, figure it out, do your thing, as long as you're happy, you're good, you know? So, that's the reason I asked too, is like, it's very important to kinda see how early on we're influenced into a certain way, into the things that we're kinda into, and for you, it was like, since you were a kid, you saw your parents, doing their thing, kinda having their business, and then seeing maybe even, like, kinda like the ups and downs of that lifestyle,
Oh, for
and for
sure.
you, it was like, "You know what? I can do that too," and maybe even a little bit different, and, fast forward a couple years, man, that's exactly what you're doing. So
Yeah, um I think it's in my DNA, to be honest, because mm, for lots of generations of my family, it seemed, at least from what I've been told, seems like there's people that wanted to run their own businesses. And I also think there's a practical element to it because, at least for immigrants that came from India, it was really hard to find a job when my mother moved here in the 60s or 70s. There weren't like she was well educated, like many Indian people who come to the States, but like it wasn't hiring an Indian woman at that time wasn't like necessarily like a common thing. And so I think her influence and her father like um, moving here was an experience of like having to make it on their own, not having another choice. Um, and and so yeah, I have that kind of built into me. And I also have had this conversation with other people about collecting. I think especially the children of immigrants uh, to America, um, like bend towards collecting. And this is not my thesis. This is from some book or something like that. But the idea is that like uh, people like to collect to have this like connection to the past and to some other place. And when you move to like when my parents moved here, they brought nothing with them, like, and all the things that they left behind, it wasn't like they could just like call FedEx and ship that in like the 50s or 60s on a boat, right?
yeah.
So all that stuff's just gone. And so the roots that we have are like, very recent. And so I kind of find myself attaching to like, I especially love historical things. Um, and yeah, I've wondered about that in particular.
Dude, that's very interesting, that you bring that up, you mentioned that because now thinking back, I think, because 'cause I'm also first generation here as well, like, my parents were immigrants at that time. They came when they were, like, 16, 17, something like that, and I don't know, man, me and my sister, I have a younger sister, we have, like, an obsession with collecting things, like, dude, I mean, look at this side right here, it's, like, books, VHSs, little, figures, and that's just one space, it's, like, that shit
Yeah.
goes on and on. So I don't know.
Man.
That's pretty interesting. Because you're right. When they came, they didn't really bring much. They can't really.
Yeah.
Um, so damn, I'm
I
gonna
mean,
have
you
to
used
like look
to,
deeper into that.
yeah. I used to, I don't know, did you ever watch like Antiques Roadshow growing up on PBS?
I don't know what was it? Say it again?
Antiques Roadshow.
Antiques Roadshow?
I was
No,
only
not in
yeah.
particular, but I
So my
did watch
parents
other
pretty
things.
much
Mhm.
you did watch other things.
Yeah.
My parents didn't really let me watch TV growing up, but if I was allowed to watch, I was allowed to turn on PBS, and they had this program that would play in like the weird hours where um, they had like appraisers, like people who appraise fine art or like
Mm.
old furniture and things like that, and they would hold these like pop-up events, and people would come in and like bring in like an old vase that they're was sitting on their shelf for generations, or like some other like thing, and the appraiser would like look at it, evaluate it, and then they would have a price. And they had experts in all these different fields, and I love that show. But thinking about what that show was, it was entirely people that were from America who were white, because the only people that had family heirlooms were folks that had been here for a long time, um
Yeah, that's true.
and I didn't have any of that. Like there was nothing in my home that wasn't like you know purchased new at the store, right?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I've definitely like spent some time like trying to figure out, identify like what is that underlying thing, because I want other people to fall in love with collecting as much as I do, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right. I think it's a really cool way to kinda like, um capture a moment in history that we know eventually is going to be gone, so when you look at certain things that we collectors have over time, to be able to try to find the same thing, maybe in the same condition, it might be impossible, depending on the thing. And so I think that, for myself, I put a really big attachment because I kind of saw early on, like, damn, like this might be like the only painting or the only figure or the only whatever, in like the next 10 something years or something, like I should probably hold on to this, and obviously because I liked it. And so anything Pokemon, Power Rangers, all these things, we're seeing that big explosion now, but like how much time did that actually take, and so it's quite interesting to see how that ends up working in terms of where people put value into collecting certain things. And so I don't know, man. It's very interesting. Um,
Okay.
that being said, bro, let's go ahead and shift the convo a little bit to like I kind of want to know what inspires you. And I know that's like a very vague question because you can be inspired by many different things depending on the subject. But like let's say let's keep it, I guess, towards Web3 space, Solana, Drip. In that aspect, what inspires you?
Yeah, I was asked this by the Cupcake guys a couple weeks ago at Breakpoint, and I struggled to find an answer. Um, like
Mhm.
outside of the creative portion of Solana, I find it hard to get behind a lot of the things that happen in crypto. I feel like we have built one of the best products. We've kind of like been the bleeding edge of the space in some ways. Um, But I don't know, like I genuinely, I didn't come. I've been public about this. Like I didn't come to Solana as someone who had like a great appreciation for art. Um, like, but what I kind of learned through Solana was um, just an appreciation for the amount of hard work that goes into things that we just like, flip by. Like when I'm watching um, an animation on TV now, I really have a much more appreciation for the craft that
Mm,
goes into something that you see for like 1 second, but someone sat there toiling for hours making. I think like being able to work with people like you is like made that really really obvious. And like the creators that work on Drip, they work really hard, and like some of them spend an entire week to make a piece that goes out and that people appreciate for maybe a couple seconds at most, right?
yeah,
So yeah, I'm inspired by Serious Crocodile and Designs by Chance and you and Degen Poet and 466. Like these are bangers. Like these you guys are underappreciated in some ways. I think you guys held up Solana over the last year. Like the culture of the chain wouldn't be here without that side of it. So I don't know. That's probably like the answer I would
Damn.
give.
Yeah, that's a really great answer, man. Because I can definitely see how that could have impacted you. Like, essentially what it did is it gave you a perspective of like the creative in that sense, right? You got to actually sit down in their shoes and kind of see how things are produced, how long things take, like the amount of effort, energy, emotion, so that's really cool from a builder's perspective, kind of getting that peak, that sneak peek, like that window, right, of creation. So that's dope, man. That's I mean, I think that would inspire basically anybody, right? Who appreciates art in some form. But that's dope, man. That's yeah, that would definitely motivate me as well, bro. Just to kind of see the people doing their thing on your platform, right? And kind of just putting that effort and energy into it because one, they either believe in you or the platform or both, or just like, I don't know, man, it's a beautiful thing. And I think that's why Drip has been working well. It's just like that organic connection, like you said, the community in Solana, right? The artists who have always been very positive, even throughout this fucking bear market. And for the most part, I've never seen any negative condescending type of energy when it comes to getting together to do something cool, right? At the end of the day, it's like we're all here pushing towards like a better future with this chain, with this platform, with the things that we're doing. And I think overall, like having builders like you kind of supporting us, from your side of things, it's very important. It goes hand in hand. Like we couldn't do it without you guys, and vice versa, right? So that's why I think it works. Um, so yeah,
Sure.
man, beautiful answer. I love that. And since you mentioned it, let's go ahead and talk about it. How was Breakpoint like?
Um, I love this. I love the captions. Yeah. So, uh, yeah, Breakpoint was. I mean, you didn't come, right? Because I don't
Nah,
we
I
didn't
wasn't
meet
able
there.
to
Yeah.
attend. Mm-mm.
Yeah. Well, we did this amazing event called the Drip House. Most of my effort, my time spent there was kind of like prepping for the event. Um, it's definitely like the best time of the year for me. You don't realize what you're missing when you can't see the faces behind these PFPs that you interact with every day. Um, it's very joyful to see somebody that you recognize that you've only seen maybe online, and you really feel how tight knit the community is, how small it is in some ways. Like walking around Breakpoint, I feel like I know hundreds of people, like way past the Dunbar number or whatever it is, 150. Like there's so many recognizable faces, so many like good memories with those folks. So yeah, this year was like a lot more intense for me than last year. Last year was cool too; it was a different vibe, but and then of course like the price of Soul was pumping during Breakpoint, and that made it
Yeah,
very. It
so
was very
yeah, that made
interesting.
it.
Just it was just like there was just a very it was just a very joyful, like euphoric atmosphere. I mean, I don't that doesn't matter to me, but certainly there are a lot of people in the audience that like are investors and traders and all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So I don't know, it was good times for sure.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I wish I could have gone. I have been to a hacker house, and I also went to Art Basel, where Exchange had like a gallery show as well. And yeah, you're right. It's like getting to see these people in person, right? It's a vibe, bro. It's just it's like you already feel like you know them because you in some way, some form, you kind of do, and getting
Yeah,
to
for
meet
sure.
them in person, it just kind of solidifies that connection even more and makes it stronger. So I definitely think, for people who have either been on the fence of thinking about, oh, should I go to this event, maybe you're too shy or whatever, like, bro, just go. Trust me, like you'll have a good time. I remember when I went to Hacker House in Colombia, I went by myself. Well, actually, both times I went by myself, and I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna end up meeting somebody, right? And I did, man, and it was just vibes. So I would definitely encourage it if you're able to like catch these type of events, you know, just to really get to know the people behind the PFPs. Um,
Sure.
but yeah, man, let's go ahead and give you a little wild card right here. Right here. Let's go ahead and ask you this: do you believe in aliens?
Do I believe in aliens?
Yeah. Do you believe? Does Vibhu believe in aliens?
I mean, I'm pretty like analytical about it, I guess. Like, seems hard to believe that they don't exist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, impossible to believe. At the same time, like, I would like a little bit more evidence than what has been surfaced so far. Like, do I think aliens are here on planet Earth? No, absolutely not. I think that's extremely unlikely. Do they exist somewhere in the universe? Like, probably, yeah. You have to say.
Yeah, and the reason I asked is because just I think it was just yesterday I was watching this Elon Musk interview, and he obviously he gets asked this all the time, right?
Uh,
And he's just like, bro, like trust me, if the first type of evidence that I get and see that aliens do exist, like you guys will definitely know. You know what I mean? Like I'll post that on X like instantly, and I was like,
he would, yeah,
yeah, he would, right? Like he definitely would, but he
100%.
was like, he's actually very much concerned at the lack of evidence that you know they haven't really found anything. So he thinks that maybe not in our galaxy, but he's just kind of like getting at that point where it's like, okay, well, this is a little concerning. Like, are we the only consciousness in our galaxy? You know, so I don't know, pretty interesting. So that's what
Yeah.
I asked. But okay. So now let's get into like the you know the main stuff, like the drip stuff, right? Let's bring that up. So like, what compelled you to start drip or be a part of it of that you know startup process?
Yeah. So Drip was a side project at Solana Spaces originally, which were these IRL stores that were trying to onboard people into Solana. Um, Originally, it was called Solana Spaces NFT List. That was the original name of the product. Terrible name. About 4 weeks into it, we rebranded as Drip, and it kind of remained as a side project for a while. And yeah, about February this year, uh, we were starting to feel pretty torn between. By the way, I'm getting a little feedback on my own voice here. I don't know if something changed, but
Are you?
um,
How about
it's
now?
okay. I seems okay. Yeah, uh, yeah. We uh, where was I? Yeah, February. We had to kind of make a decision because Drip was taking up a increasing amount of our time, and the stores were becoming like financially difficult for us to maintain. And so yeah, we made this like hopefully what would become a legendary pivot from like physical stores to this kind of art and creative platform. They really do share like a similar mindset, and the mindset was how can we introduce crypto to people in a more friendly way. And I think Drip has been an amazing onboarding tool for Solana, but our ambitions have grown a lot since we kind of like went down this path because we realized that um, you know step by step there's something magical happening with the product and what's being built. And I think we've had, like I mentioned, like an increasing appreciation for creative efforts and thinking through like what does it mean to support someone in a creative endeavor. I think what's interesting about art in particular, and I don't consider Drip to be an art platform, but I do think it has like a lot of product market fit on chain. Is that like prior to crypto, there wasn't really a way for digital artists to make money. We had DeviantArt, we had some other platforms, um, and it shies. I mean, it was a tiny slice of the internet relative to what it's become. And my belief is that uh, like the phenomenon that artists have gone through is something that's going to happen in all kinds of content categories. And we have an opportunity to step up the meaning of collectibles and digital provenance into a whole other, range of things um, that people like to make. And we like the stack is there. Like Solana has And we're increasingly building the like tools that I think are kind of missing from the rest of the internet, including like microtransactions, being able to support a creator for, instead of $5 a month on Patreon, supporting them for 10 cents or 25 cents or a dollar, being able to like collect a song or piece of art for, you know, an affordable price that you can enjoy and keep. I think it's becoming like this missing financial infrastructure for content that I hope is a big idea, um, and yeah, we're gonna keep on until we get proven wrong.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm just showing people here like the platform, right? Kind of, and like one of the first things you see is just the amount of diversity in artists. You know, the way people are doing their drops. Like us ourselves, we have a channel as well, right? That we launched, I want to say, a little over a month ago, or just about.
Hmm.
And it's been very fun, man. You know, and since then, like, we do obviously like the weekly drops. And for us, like the reason why it makes sense for us is because the things that we're building right now at our current phase, we saw that it was very important to first of all start a business outside of Web3, right? Because we want to come into the space and kind of just be giving in a sense, of just building cool stuff. But we understood that in order to do that, we need to have some type of business outside, right? And so for me, it was perfect because I always wanted to start like a clothing brand, right? And so for us, it's like this is a really fun way to kind of promote ODK as a whole, like as a whole brand identity, and then kind of just lead traffic towards our other sites, like the brand site. So that's why if you see here, like this drop right here, with the ghost face, these hoodies that the creators are wearing, those are actually available on our site. So doing
Nice.
stuff like fun stuff like that has
Yeah.
been actually working for us. Like our subscriber number on our Shopify site has gone up ever since we've joined Drip. And obviously they show you like the analytics, where the traffic's coming from, and like 30% of the traffic was from Drip, bro. So it's like, so it's amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Drip is somewhere, it's somewhere between an Instagram and a Patreon and NFTs. Like, I mean, Instagram has been an awesome platform for doing something like what you just described as well. Um, but I think with NFTs as the primitive underneath, you have some other kind of opportunities for, like, one of the things that I hope you guys will explore one day is um, dropping a collectible that actually functions as a coupon code on your site, right? If you, hey, we
Yep.
detect that you have 3 legendaries in your wallet, I'm going to throw you 25% off just for kind of having been there and shown up for me, over the last couple of weeks, right, or months. So yeah, I think there's like what it is today is a like sandbox for these
Oh,
like
hundred
creative
percent
ideas. But like fast forward 2 years from now, I think there's going to be plugins that you can put into Shopify that are like designed to like coordinate with Drip the same way that you saw this with Instagram and Facebook and Twitter in the early days when they had more open access.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, and like the technology is like is ready for this kind of stuff. I think we just need people experimenting and building.
100%. And I know that you have a creative group as well, where you're constantly sharing feedback and kind of like asking questions, which is really cool, by the way, because you kind of get answers right away. People tell you what they think, what they're doing, how they're doing it. And it's just like an open share system where everybody's kind of just bouncing off ideas instead of like, oh, you stole my idea, or like, no, you copied me here, like, bro, I've never seen that, which is really quite odd when you think about it, because you know, outside of this space, I feel like creatives and artists tend to be very, very like, no, I'm gonna keep this a secret, like putting up walls, like, nah, like it took me a long time to get here type of thing, so I'm not gonna share my knowledge. And like, I don't know, bro. I just never really liked that. And to be fair, I've noticed that from like older people. So I don't know what it is. Yeah, like the younger
Well,
generations
yeah,
tend to just be like, here, bro, like, oh, like that's pretty cool. Oh, dope. You want to learn? Here's like the info. You know what I mean? So I
Yeah.
don't know. It's weird, but
I'm quite a bit older than you, but I grew up on the internet. I do think that like the generation of people that came up through social media and like maybe you even had a lot of friends in real life, but like the primary way that you interacted with them was through your phone, right?
yeah,
Um, like I think you just have a different perspective on how to build relationships and what that all that kind of stuff means. But there's something about the old way too. You know, it's not all bad. Like the old gallery. Every time you share your screen, by the way, I hear the
you hear the
feedback. I don't know
feedback?
what.
Huh.
Yeah, it's
Interesting.
kind of strange,
Okay.
um, but yeah, like the gallery model, right, of which you've engaged with as well, where you're handing off your piece to somebody else to represent for you, and you don't have to know the collector, and maybe they don't even want to know,
Hmm.
get to know you. Uh, like there's something to it too. I think you could say blockchain kind of solves this,
Yeah.
but it's just a different. It's just like a different medium to me entirely. Like the participatory nature of on-chain activity and art is kind of the superpower. What makes it fun.
No, I totally 100%. You're right. And but to also add on to that before we move on, I've experienced many forms of like gatekeeping a lot of information in that industry, right? Which I'm currently still in, like the fine art world, like the fine art world. You know what I mean? Like it's very small, it's very political, and you know, you can be brought up and brought down just as fast. And
Mm,
I don't know, man. I just didn't like the way that it was out of my control in a lot of ways, you know. I was just like, how does this work? Like, I know what I'm capable of, what I'm doing, my direction. So it's like, how is all this in the hands of somebody else saying whether or not this is the next thing or not, you know? So I was just like,
yeah,
nah, bro, this needs to change somehow. And
yeah,
so, long story short, that's kind of like my own personal mission, you know, outside of ODK. It's like, I understand in order to change something, you need to be deep in it, right? And so, like, I've just always held my tongue and kind of just like, okay, well, I'm kind of like, in some ways, taking all the bullshit because I know the only way I can truly make a change is from the inside. So, yeah, and it's been going pretty well actually, but it's definitely a process. Um, so yeah, enough on that. Let's go ahead and talk about the app, bro, because I do see like the updates, obviously, and I actually have. I'm gonna share the screen because I want to share the video. So I guess I'll share the video, and then you can kind of like talk about it a little bit. So let me go ahead and pull it up. Um, Here we go. Oh no, there we go. So yeah, really sick video. Um, what up?
thank you. Made that at 2 in the morning in Amsterdam the night before the event.
Really?
Yeah,
That's usually how it goes. Yeah, sounds
yeah,
about right.
yeah. We were waiting on some creative like all the way up to the last second. But
Oof.
yeah, man, yeah, I mean the next phase for Drip is gonna be mobile. I mean most people already use Drip on their mobile phone. They just do it through the Phantom browser. Um, the Drip app's gonna be a watershed moment for us and hopefully for the online collectible space. Um, the experience is going to be a little different from how Drip works today. Signing up, for example, will no longer require setting up a seed phrase and noting it down somewhere and all that kind of stuff. We have a very slick passkeys wallet where you sign in with your face and you sign up with your face ID, and it
Nice.
stores your private keys in the hardware, rather in the iCloud. iCloud has like a secure storage for this kind of stuff, and it syncs with your desktop. So like, you go back to
Oh, nice.
your
Yeah.
MacBook. It just kind of works ditto with the Google side of it, and definitely like very excited about notifications. So when you're subscribed to ODK, like, and they send out a new drop, you should get a notification when you swipe it. It's gonna like celebrate what you just received, and we're like designing a whole bunch of like special animations depending on like the class of collectible you get. Like if you get an ultimate, it's gonna be like a
Like
you know,
just boom, fucking
yeah,
yeah,
it's gonna be
wild.
awesome.
Damn.
Yeah, and yeah, if you come back to the app after some time, there's a preview in the video. You'll have this like special screen where you kind of catch up on what you missed. There's gonna be a feed, like a social feed in there. So you'll not only be able to see what you've received, but also what your friends have received on the app, be able to comment and like. Actually, shipping like very soon will be a somewhat of a like button for collectibles, except it'll be like micro financialized. So when someone hits like, they're actually giving you like a tiny bit of money, which is kind of cool. Um, yeah, it's I think just from ease of use, accessibility, I think that's when we're going to start to feel like, okay, let's take this thing outside of Web3 and start exploring how we get this in the hands of everybody else.
Damn, dude, you guys are on it, man. What are your work days like, bro? Because I feel like that's a lot for a team of five. Like,
Yeah,
dude,
I mean, I mean, I think we are venture backed, so we've raised 3.2 million from investors, and we utilize a lot of outside help. So we're five full
gotcha.
time, but I've got like a design firm we work with. We've got like multiple people that do videos for us. And yeah, I don't know, like we have an ecosystem of help around
Yeah,
us that kind of like bring this to life. We also just work a lot. We just, I don't know, most of my weeks, I have kids, so I'm spending time with the kids too, but definitely like the normal workday plus every single night, going till midnight, 1, 2 in the morning. There's just a lot to do, but we
yeah,
really enjoy doing it. I don't. It's not a necessity for us to like move at this pace, but you don't get that many opportunities to like build something that has this kind of potential. And when
yeah.
you find it, you better like jump all the way in. That's kind of how we thought about it.
Nah, I totally agree, man. I can relate as well. Like, with ODK, I feel like we've been able to really position ourselves in a way that it we're respected by the community, right? We've done stuff with exchange. I've shown phase, I made connections. Now we're like on drip, right? And we're part of this whole movement, and it's kind of cool to see how early we are, right? As an other organization within an organization, so to speak, right? So it's like very, very interesting to see what will happen, even just between us, in some sense, because I feel like there's a lot of possibilities. Like there's so much stuff that we're doing as well that we see us, integrating with Drip and kind of growing and just kind of like doing different cooler stuff within it, right? And so I don't know. It's just exciting, bro. It's like you said, like, yeah, it's a lot of work. Obviously, it's a ton of work, but we're, we enjoy it. We truly, truly enjoy it. Like, I wake up like, okay, well, like, shit, what do I have to do today, right? Like, I already know I have many things that I can do, but it's like, okay, what are we actually gonna get done today, right? Because I know it's just so much, bro. And the way I like to think about it, and I actually got this from this guy named Simon, really cool guy. Like,
Simon Sinek.
yeah, his way of building, right? It's like the infinite build. It's never gonna end. It's never supposed to end, right? And so when you build from that perspective, it's just like, okay, even if we have shit days, like, okay, it's fine. It's just a day out of like how many, you know what I mean? So it's like when you build off of that mindset, it's just a for everything. Like it's just never gonna end. I'm never gonna see ODK ending. And for you, it's probably the same thing. Like you see drip fucking lasting forever, right? And that's the way you guys are building it. So it's a really cool thing to be able to connect with like-minded individuals, aka like due to the space, right? Because I met you through the space. And so I don't know, man. It's a really cool time, right? It's like I love being here. I love being part of all of this. I love connecting. That's the reason why we're doing this, right? To be able to share the stories and hopefully compel other people to kind of check us out and to kind of see what we're doing as a whole, right? So yeah, bro, it's amazing,
Yeah,
honestly.
man.
I love it.
I love working with you. I think I'm a little bit ahead of you in age, so I'll give you my like wisdom of of accumulated, but
Yes,
I do
all
like
of it.
everything like I don't necessarily like um you know I've there are lots of things in my life I thought I was going to do forever that I didn't do, so I don't necessarily like imagine that whatever I'm working on now is like the thing that I'll work on forever. You just never know.
Mhm.
At the same time, like you put in your full effort as if it's going to be you know, a massive success and it's going to change your life, change the world. That's really important. But I like the most important thing for every type of creation. I don't care if you're an artist or not. Is just raw persistence and, like you said, showing up every single day and making things a little bit better and trying something new. That's what I thrive on. Not necessarily where we're going, but just making sure that you know, incrementally there's progress every 24
Yeah.
hours. Like that's how we think.
Yeah, man. Because I mean, you really think about the amount of time that we're really here in this world, right? A part of all of this, it's really just like a speckle of like how long we've actually been here, right? It's like light speed, and so I don't know, just kind of enjoying the process and just making sure that you actually love doing what you're doing, man. I preach that all the time, and I know it's a lot harder than what it sounds. Obviously, it's like people really need to understand who they are, what they're into, and at least have some type of direction to be able to feel this way. Because if you don't, if you're just kind of like stagnant, I understand that it can get very, very hard in a sense. It's like, what am I actually doing with my life? Like, am I just, just idling? And I know a lot of people feel that way. And I think doing stuff like this, especially for the creative arts, right? Showing different people that there are different ways. Like, you don't just have to make art and try to find an art dealer or gallery to sell your stuff. Like, there's so many different ways to aka make it, right? And that's also another conversation because some people might be content with doing this as a hobby. Other people are like, yo, I want to be the greatest artist in the world, so it just really depends on that person and what they're trying to do. So but yeah, bro,
What about you? Do you want to be the greatest artist in the world?
I want to be one of the greatest artists of my generation, and then two, I want to be like one of the biggest influences of like the next creative evolution, if that makes sense. Like, I want to be a part of that story of like, because of what I did, just it expanded the way creatives evolved over time. All right. So yeah, that's my why. Like my big picture why for sure. Like legacy, bro. I don't know what it is. I'm just obsessed with legacy. And so that allows me to like carry myself in a very strictly like disciplined manner. So that's what's working for me. So yeah. What
Fair
about
enough.
you, bro?
Um, I don't know. I think uh,
It's a
I'm
tough one. It's like a
definitely
like you think about it, right? You really
yeah.
have to like think about it. It took me a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I try to live without expectations. I think that that is like an enemy of happiness in a lot of ways, and many people live their lives miserable because um they expect something to happen or someone to give them something or something
Yeah.
to change. And I think it's much more important to do your best no matter what the conditions are and what happens next. Sometimes that means spending, for me, 7 years building a company, hiring 250 people, building stores all over the world, like I did my last company before I joined Web3, and seeing it get destroyed by a virus, um, like
Damn.
very depressing.
Yeah.
And I like my takeaway from that and the way I felt afterwards was that you know, it wasn't important where we were going as long as we were I gave my best and everyone gave it their best, and that's what you can do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the aspirations I had when I was very young, which was like I wanted to be, like, a great founder. You look at Steve Jobs and Zuckerberg and these kind of guys, like those are the people that I hope to become. I think I've definitely like put that aside in exchange for like making great progress every day, staying level headed and focused on just doing my best work. Um, so yeah, I don't know. I think trying not to be outcomes driven in that sense,
Yeah.
and that's kind of why, like, honestly, like even getting to this point with drip is a very like unusual thing because I spent a decade building stores, and like if you ask me about building a store, bro, I'm a world expert in that. Like, I build any kind of store
Damn.
from start to finish. But like having to adapt into what we're doing now was just from being disciplined
Complete
about,
360, right? Just
but yeah, but it was just being disciplined about like, hey, let's like just every day checking yourself, is what I'm doing right now the most valuable thing I can be doing, and am I doing my best work? And if you're not, sometimes you're not working on the right thing. So I wouldn't necessarily, yeah, I don't want to put myself onto
yeah.
some expectation like that. I think drip's going to be amazing. I think it has a chance, like few things do, to have a big impact on the world. But I would be naive to say that like I know for sure, because sometimes there's another door that opens down the road that you don't expect, and it will happen to you too. I
Yeah.
promise.
Oh,
You just never
100%.
know.
Yeah. I'm um I'm ready for it, bro. I've been through so much already. I'm just like I'm just down, like, whatever happens, dude. I just know that I'm not gonna stop creating. That much I know, you know? So that's what I can look forward
For
to every
sure.
single day. But dude, a lot of wisdom on you, bro. This is a really, really dope conversation. And that being said, but we're almost at the 1 hour mark. So I'll go ahead and wrap it up with this last question, and then we can go ahead and enjoy our rest of our Friday. So if you can go back in time, bro, and if you had 10 minutes with young Vibhu, what would you tell him?
Hmm.
Take your time.
How young?
I don't know. Just usually when I ask that, I feel like people tend to kind of automatically think of which young Vibhu needs like the most encouragement, or I don't know, that like that one-on-one talk. So,
Hmm.
for instance, for me, it would be definitely like 8-year-old Andrew when I remember my first soccer game. Like all my family came to watch me to play, and we got slaughtered like 15-1, bro. And I felt absolutely horrible. Like I almost quit the sport before even starting. And luckily enough, I didn't, and actually became a really good soccer player over time. Got like a scholarship and everything. But I would definitely go back to that kid and be like, you know what, like this is the start of like the real world, you know. So I would just give him encouragement. I don't know, just talk to like that Andrew at that time, because I feel like that was the very first time that I felt true like I'm not good enough at something, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's a very interesting, like, it puts you back kind of thinking of like, "Damn, well, what was the moment that I would even go back to?" And sometimes, if there isn't, there isn't, that's why I asked,
Yeah.
like, just to see if, you
Yeah.
have one of
I,
those or not.
I think my biggest regrets is like probably um I like I think I could have developed better social skills in when I was younger. Like I was so attached to my computer the moment I got one, a laptop, and just never put it down. And so I was very much a late bloomer with like a lot of non-computer related things, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, and ample opportunity was given to me to you know do theater or other things that kind of like force you into being more outgoing, being kind of more external in that way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd probably sit down and say, hey, dude, you don't have to be on your laptop 6 hours a day. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
go call a friend and like go do something else. Like more often, it'd be
Go
better.
outside, bro.
Better
Go
off for
outside
it.
for a
Like
little
you'll have
bit.
plenty of time to be on your computer in the future.
That's a good
Um,
one. That's a good one. I feel like that definitely would make a pretty interesting impact, you know? Just
and
like,
also invest in Apple. Just,
oh, of course. Of
yeah.
course. That's damn, I can't believe that happened in our lifetime, which is fucking amazing. Dude, Steve Jobs, man. I love researching these kind of people. Like, I like
uh,
researching more so like the way they lived their life though. You know, so when I talk about other artists in the past that I look up to, it's not so much their work, it's like how they lived their life that I think has a bigger impact on how the people saw him in their work, if that makes sense.
mhm.
So I've done that with like Pablo Picasso, Basquiat. Like I really went deep into like their psyche of like why they did certain things, you know? And so it's very
I
interesting,
relate to that 100%. We
right?
humans are imitation devices,
Yeah.
and maybe you can't imitate their style, but you can think about
Patterns,
how they were.
certain
And
things. Yeah.
yeah,
100%.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
All right, now thank you so much for having me on. I've
Yeah.
got to run, but
Yeah,
it's
man.
been awesome talking
Thank
to you.
you.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. Thank you for taking the time, bro. This is recorded by the way, so we'll probably post it like on YouTube, all this stuff. And yeah, bro, it's been a vibe. And for everybody who tuned in, much love to you guys. I know we're going into the weekend, into like Thanksgiving, all that stuff. So happy holidays. Have fun. Just be safe. Drink your water. And don't forget to go outside every once in a while. Like Vibhu said, you know, step outside the laptop. So thank you, bro, for taking the time. Much love to you, bro. And
Thank you, Andrew.
looking forward to everything that we have going on. There's so much. So
Likewise.
yeah. Peace, bro.